All right, we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to day 15. We're at the halfway point. We finally made it. We're halfway to 30, and to celebrate today, we are talking to Earn Collects. Ernie, how you doing today? Let the people know where they can find you before we hop into our conversation and how they can support you, either on YouTube or eBay or Instagram or wherever.
Yeah. Well, first, I'm honored to be halfway at your halfway point. So thank you for inviting me to be on. Let's see. I go by Ernie. I go by also Earn Collects. By the way, I just noticed the title of this stream at the top. I'm dominating Call of Duty. That's funny. Let's see. How do I view myself? How do I explain myself? I would say, like a journeyman Pokemon card collector turned seller. I got back in 2020 during the COVID boom. I spent an ungodly amount of money opening up product. I'm pretty sure I have a lifetime membership to Hills at this point. I ripped so many packs, booster boxes, collection boxes. And I think over time, I realized that I had become like an accidental investor. And by that, I mean, like, I just had so much stuff, and I still have a lot of that stuff through today, that it started to appreciate over time. And so 2 years ago, I decided, after watching a lot of different content on YouTube, I should probably figure out how to sell. Partially because I think my wife was like, hey, you're switching, doing different things, different jobs, disposable income is not the same. Like, what are you doing? Like, why do you have all this stuff arriving and, you're not bringing any money in? The other part of it was like, I just wanted to figure out how to like not spend personal money. And so I started to take selling, I would say semi-seriously about 2 years ago, selling on eBay and Instagram and then TCG Player. Most of my revenue streams, I think these days, come through doing consigning or getting my stuff consigned. So sending it out to different auction houses and sellers and that kind of thing. I did TCG Player pretty heavily for like a year and a half. Honestly, I'm probably not going to do it anymore unless I'm selling sealed or cards over the $30 or $50 mark. It's just like too much work, and I'm not organized enough to really to do it. So I've been looking at different consignment services, talking to Skya, some other guys. But yeah, I also vend at shows, and I think we talked like a year ago, right?
Has it been a year? Damn.
it's been a year. My daughter is a year and a half.
Jeez.
It's crazy to believe.
Yeah.
A year ago, I vended around this time. I would say March. I vended my first show. Since then, I've vended like 8 or 9 shows, and I've been to 8 or 9 to buy. And so, I go to shows now really just a source to meet people, to network. And I've moved a lot of my business, I would say, from just posting listings online to more physical. Again, going to shows, meeting people, and that kind of thing. Yeah, so I think that brings me through to today. The Call of Duty thing. So let's talk about that. I have a channel. It is called Earn Collects. It was an old YouTube channel that I had for many, many years. I think this year marks the 15th anniversary of it. And I used to make a lot of Call of Duty content. This is back in the day when like subscriber counts were like skyrocketing and mooning. And so that channel has like 50,000 subscribers through today. So what's funny is when I got into the selling space, I was talking to Ponga, and Ponga's like, dude, I used to watch your content. So that's why he always makes those comments to me. And I'm like, that's awesome. Also, like, kind of weird. Cool, kind of weird. Like, that was so many years ago. But yeah, back then, like, Call of Duty was, one of the first games that really made YouTube alongside like Minecraft. And so the community and people who watch the content, it was pretty tight knit.
Yeah. Man. So recently, well, first of all, I have a question. Why do you keep avoiding us? You go to all these shows and you never come to a Collecticon. What the hell?
I live on the West Coast. There's only one Collecticon on the West Coast. Like, I would gladly go to like every single Collecticon I could. Part of it's like the travel and the family, but to be honest, I've been to 3 Collecticons now. They're a little overrated. in terms of um, selling, I would say, at least for me. Maybe it's because I don't have the right network, or I'm not bringing the right goods, but I don't know. I think I can get a lot more work done at a lot of the local shows that I'm near, because I'm in the Bay Area, which is like a pretty decently populated area. Um, but I would love to go to have fun. Like trust me, I'm down. We can hang out. We can go gamble. We can go have drinks, do whatever, go to arcade. Like I'm totally down for that. Yeah, anytime. We'll
Yeah.
make it happen. It'll happen this year or something. We'll see.
Yeah, that sounds good. So you've done it sounds like more local shows than Collecticons. But you have done some Collecticons. So what would you say are some of the biggest differences between the local shows and the Collecticons, and why do you prefer one more over the other?
I think it's a lot easier at local shows to find gems.
Hmm.
And what I'm finding about the Pokemon space is like it's still very underdeveloped. Like there are vendors who print money. They sell 6, 7 figures. They don't even have social media followings, right? Like they don't, and they're not on like Discord and YouTube and like all these different platforms that we use. Like they're just everyday. For example, if you live in the Bay Area, you'll know who I'm referring to. There's this guy. He's like probably in his 40s. He brings his whole family of like 10 people, and they book like 8 tables. And he doesn't have social media, and they just go event to event. They have all these tables, and they take up different sections of every show, and like they sell like everything from low end to high end. And so I think the main difference is like you just find a lot more like opportunities and like pockets of things that you wouldn't find out of like Collecticon. I think Collecticon for me, it's like if I want to go to high end buying and I can get there first, then it's a really good opportunity. But I probably wouldn't rely on it to like, I don't know, score big gems at a good rate, because like I got to compete with all the different streamers and all these guys now that I think it'd be hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely more traveled, more like corporatized, more almost like touristy. It's like, it's a show less than like it's partially an event and a show and partially like a buying and business opportunity. But yeah, like every big streamer, every big buyer, every big person is
Yeah.
there. They're all getting in early because they have vendor passes. They're all getting around the tables before really anybody else does. And not that you can't find cool stuff and you can't find gems and stuff to grade, but it is definitely different because a lot of the businesses that fly into Collecticon are flying into Collecticon. They're not necessarily local. There are a lot of local businesses, but a lot of the businesses there are traveling specifically to be there. And they're these big operations, whether they're whatnot operations, streaming, or just big stores. And local shows are great because it's all little local vendors, or it's local like stores that don't
Yeah.
grade, and
Oh, grade. Yeah.
yeah, there's
I
definitely a lot of opportunity.
so I I'm going to refer to a video that I had up, and then we could talk about why it was up and no longer
Oh
is
yeah.
up. But I went to a show 2 weeks ago. It's in Fairfield, California. They took one of the like the Dick's Sporting Goods, or like this big department store that it was empty. They booked the whole place out. I went in. I was going to do my modern thing, like, hey, go find good deals. Within the first 4 or 5 tables, I started to find GX cards, like Sun and Moon
Mm.
GX cards, and they were. I mean, I'm grading them all. They're like mint. And at that point, I was like, oh, I'm probably just going to spend all day going through these different binders from like 3 or 4 different tables and just going through, some of the cards are like Sun and Moon base Umbreon GX, which is like $15, $20. But when you grade it, it's like 100, 150. So it's like the margin is not that much, but if you can find the card, it's worth getting. I would never find that at Collecticon, just because it probably would have been ravaged, or maybe if it's like a smaller Collecticon that's new that people aren't going to, I would have the opportunity. But the shows here, like some of those guys don't even have social media followings. They're just, oh yeah, I have this collection I'm selling, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good
What's up,
margin.
chef?
Buying for 20, selling for 150, that's a pretty damn good margin.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, let's go through. And actually, I have a question. We'll follow up on that about that particular video, but we can go through and say hi to the chat first. We've got iFOMO, we got Shug Nasty and Skya, we got Nan P, we got Jason Biggs. How's it going? Son of a Merc,
See all the guys in
Boondock
here.
Games, PokeChef, and Spat. What's up, guys? Remember to post your questions. Put a little tomato or a little stop sign so that I know it's a question, and we will ask them throughout this entire conversation. But back to that video. It was interesting to hear because I bought a lot of GXs, like not anything too crazy, but some of the tag team GXs, a lot of the flat GXs. So like popular Pokemon flat GXs, popular Pokemon in the tag team flat GXs, and then some of the tag team like full art GXs around like December, January-ish. But I'm curious because in the video, you seem to think that was a pretty good buy right now, like the Sun and Moon era in particular. And I was curious, how do you come to that conclusion? Like, what are the factors that you put together in your mind to kind of spit out that that's a good idea?
So I think I should probably first explain that like YouTube content is global. It touches everyone in America. Like you and I are on the East West Coast. Like we're not. It's just one big umbrella of like locations of people, right? But the opportunities that people get are not online. It's all regional. So like me saying that, that's me applying it to where I live. Whereas I'm sure like, I don't know, Cast Collectibles, one of our friends, right? He's in Texas. Like he probably would not be able to find any Sun and Moon. So I think like part of it is first identifying generally what are people talking about, and YouTube content is really just like noise, but at the same time it's like pretty directional. There's a lot of Scarlet and Violet content. People are talking about Destined Rivals. People talking about Journey Together. Oh my god, this set sucks. No one's really making videos on like, I don't know, early Sword and Shield or Sun and Moon cards. So you just kind of like piece together like that's what people are talking about, and then you go look at the data, which is like eBay, TCG Player, and the opportunities there, and then you apply it to like your local shows. So, you know, for me, if I didn't know that Sun and Moon cards were at the local show the other week, I wouldn't bother looking for them. They just kind of like, I guess in my head, like there's a priority list of like, here are good opportunities and things you should think about. And like if something like gets to the top of the queue because the opportunity presents itself, then I'm going to deprioritize everything else and just focus on that thing. But
Yeah.
I think like the thing that kills me at YouTube content is like people apply the most blanket advice, and like it doesn't matter. One, if you're not actually buying or selling. Two, if you can't actually find the opportunities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah,
for
I
me,
guess it's good to have like you said, like a list of like, if I find this, that's great. If I find this, that's great. If I find this, that's great. And then if if you have a list of 5, 10 different things and you stumble upon one at a show, like, hey, good for you. If you go in without a list, then you're probably not going to find anything. You're probably going to walk around and be like, I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Man, this is where we get ranty because this stuff like gets me really agitated. It's like not even a list. It's like a lot of the people coming in, they just don't know shit about the hobby. And they don't know, all they watch is the same market content. Oh my god, Destined Rival. Apparently Destined Rival sucks now. Apparently it's also really good. It's just like
it looks amazing to
and
me.
I think like I think the beauty in that though for people who have been around is like if we were presented with like a mint XY card, this just says like a base EX card, right? Most of us who have been around understand the hobby would be like, that's a buy.
Yeah.
And we kind of want it that way because if everyone knew like that's a good card, the opportunities wouldn't exist. Right. And so it's like kind of just like this cycle of like new people coming in, this is the concept they watch, and then like everyone else is kind of like, oh well, you should look left if everyone else is looking right. And so you start to build like that knowledge and you understand that if everyone's talking about a certain card, it might be the most liquid, but it probably is not the best opportunity. And I think you only learn that through like repetition and buying and selling.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things that I learned from Jake very early on is like when everyone's talking about something, you should be looking elsewhere.
Yeah.
That if everyone's talking about that particular thing, then that interest and that demand is going to be priced into whatever that thing is, like right off the rip. And so if you can shift your gaze and get rid of the FOMO, because obviously you're going to probably want to buy it too. Like, I want all of the Destin's Rival cars, but am I going to buy any? Probably freaking not, because they're going to be crazy expensive. I'd rather, like you said, I'd rather buy some cool GX cards, or I'd rather buy some cool like VMAXs or Rainbow Rares or something from the Sword and Shield era, because I find those to be really cool. It's nice to have, like, basically I just look and say, is it a popular Pokemon? Is it like an ultra rare or like a hyper rare or some sort of cool thing in a set? And do I feel like it's kind of cheap? Like this weekend I was in Chicago and Giratina V-Star gold cards were like $10. I'm like, this is crazy. So every time I saw a centered Giratina V-Star gold card for 10 or $12, I'd grab it. So I'm like, this is just insane.
I think that's the beauty of like all of us coming together and buying for different reasons. Like, I don't think a Whatnot streamer would apply the same articulate reasoning that you just laid out. They would probably just be like, that's not going to get me my 30%. You know what I mean? And so I think this is where the experience really kicks in. And like, you talked about buying Destin Rival singles. The thing I always ask people now when I get asked for advice is like, well, what are you? Are you a collector? Are you an investor? Are you a reseller or seller? Like, and yeah, I brought this example up before, like in my video I uploaded. Everyone wants to be like this quadruple class character for like an RPG where it's like I can do everything. We're like, oh, if I buy this and I don't want to collect it anymore, then I'm gonna invest. And then like as soon as I don't like it as an investment, I'm gonna flip it. And it's like there are very few things that you can buy that check off all those boxes. And then you also have to apply like the time variable, right?
Yeah.
Where many people say they can afford the time, but they can't really wait for things to appreciate. And so, it's interesting times. I think people are just buying because why not? But
yeah. Let's run through chat. We got Drew, Card Vibe. How's it going? Two of my favorite channels. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
I appreciate it, man.
Dark Ibex, what's going on? Welcome. Hope Japan is treating you well. Chef is in chat. Me and Chef had an interesting adventure today. We'll see where that goes. We got Hoodoo. We got Quilly.
What's up, Quilly?
Guys? Yeah, I really liked that video because it was just, first of all, I love like vendor content. I love seeing all the GX cards and stuff like that. And typically I don't get to see them a lot in English. I don't buy a lot in English when it comes, especially the GX era.
Kind of foreign.
Yeah.
Like we see all the Japanese stuff in like mint condition. Sun and Moon Japanese GX is like really easy to find. Yeah. English is like, wow, these characters look weird. The text looks awful. Like, what is this card?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that places like Card Rush and some of these other places are literally still ripping GX boxes, because sometimes they'll just drop like 50 Flareon GXs. Like, there you go. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll buy 10 more.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, let's see. Are people still going to pick up some Rocket cards for the first to market grading plays? Maybe you can tell me what your plan is with that. I can be quick and say that I probably won't.
I will buy a healthy amount of Rocket singles. 5, 10K plus some singles, probably the top 3 to 5 cards. And if I get them back fast enough and that window of opportunity is clear with like PSA or CGC, I'll send them out and then I'll wait for them to get back. But it's so unpredictable right now. Like, I graded 40 Garchomps. I got back 8 and I'm late. I'm already late. Like, there's been a sale for like $600 and $400. And so I'll make like 20% maybe. Is it worth it? But it's like, you gotta understand, it's like really stressful. Like, when you get more than 5, 10 copies of a card, you're grading it trying to flip, and the market's hot, so you're trying to like time that. It's not like a leisurely thing to do. Like, you got to post it right away, you got to get it back, and then sometimes PSA sends a shipment notification, but they haven't shipped yet, and then CGC like doesn't send you any notification, so you're checking it. It's just like, So yeah,
Oh.
to answer your question, I'm still probably going to do some of it, but I'm actually going to focus more on selling singles to friends and streamers. I think there's pretty good margin there, mainly because like with the tariff situation, I think people are more scared than they need to be. But that's great because I can take on that risk and I can deal with that. And you just pay me my margin, and everybody will be happy.
Yeah. Speaking of bulk grading plays that aren't going to go well, we talked about it a little bit before we started. I bought a bunch of the reverse hollow, just the Pokeballs from Terrastal Festival of the evolutions, because I thought, you know what? Those Pokeballs are pretty dang hard to grade. You only get, or pretty dang hard to get. You only get like, how many in a box? Like 2 in a box or something like that. And there's so many different Pokemon that you can get. So I was like, oh, I'll grab a bunch of the Umbreons. They're like $10 a piece. That seems low. I have like 60 of them at $10 a piece at PSA right now, and low list is $25. Like, I'm literally gonna get just
Low
smashed
list
on
is
those.
25. Oh wow,
There's
you're
no
gonna
margin. I'm
you
gonna
should just
lose.
fund some streamers pull game.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
Um,
that's 60 cards, and I'm probably gonna lose a few dollars on all of them.
I mean, it's kind of the nature of the grading game. Like Retro talks about this a lot, where it's like it's really hard to scale grading. Either the market won't absorb what you have, or it's hard for you to source reliably and fast enough and get your cards back fast enough in order to sell all that through. And so like it's I don't know if this makes sense, but like grading is kind of like a novel thing as a reseller or as a seller. Like you can do it, you can do a decent amount of it, but like I don't think you can build 7+ figures businesses just grading cards unless you have like a massive sourcing engine where you're just like constantly sourcing and constantly grading and just selling that through to like streamers. But other than that, like
yeah.
it can be pretty difficult.
Yeah, I kind of think the 7+ figure businesses are the ones where you're not selling to anybody. Like, people are buying
Yeah.
through you, or you're
Yeah.
facilitating a service for them, like Z&G with their auction house on eBay, or Retro with his kind of drop shipping Japanese stuff to people. Like, that type of stuff is where the money lies. The sales numbers are not necessarily the single card, or the grading 100 here, grading 100 there.
Yeah.
It seems to be more in those types of services that you can provide people.
If I bring CGC slabs to my local shows, nobody will touch them. They'll be like, "What is this crap?" Even if I bring the pristines, I can sell them to some of the streamer friends because they do their games or whatever. But PSA basically all the way. Um,
Yeah, that's interesting because
can I?
the streaming situation is very different. A lot of streamers use
Yeah.
CGC, and it's like just normal for people to buy CGC on streams because it's cheap and people can source it fast, and all that stuff. Master Set Games themselves, I think they said they like 40,000 cards a month or something like that they source and grade as CGC, like, and they sell through all of them. It's pretty insane.
It's a
Um,
lot. Can I
yeah,
tell you just a side story about James?
yeah.
Um, oh, I've never told this story before publicly. When I first got back in the hobby, let me find this email. This is 2021, February 2021. So I've been in the hobby for a while. I was just blowing money left and right, buying like packs and boxes of just random stuff. I bought a Stormfront booster box on eBay, the only one I could find, right? And bear in mind, like I didn't really know that much about mid era or any of those eras. I just had enough money at the time. I was addicted enough, and I want to just buy the thing that nobody else had. So I bought a Stormfront box for like $4,000. It, I could not sleep for like days. It just created so much anxiety for me, right? Like I just bought this thing that's super expensive. Like, what am I supposed to do with it? I panicked, sold it to James for the same price I paid for, and a PSA 9 Lugia from Neo Genesis, Japanese. I held it literally for like a week, and
Oh no.
I couldn't. It created so much like
Yeah.
stress. I was like, James, please just buy this for me. He's like, sure. So yeah,
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure he still has it, and it's worth probably like 10K now. So
Yeah.
congrats to you, James.
Yeah, James is killing it. He was at the eBay booth at Collecticon this weekend taking in consignments. He's got some crazy stuff that's going to be auctioning here in the next week or two. Definitely just destroying the game. Let's see. So let's talk about Rocket a little bit. Glory of Team Rocket, and we can talk a little bit about Destin Rivals. Hesitant going in because of kind of the ARs and stuff that we'd seen. The Clam Pearl, the Orbital. It was kind of like, where are we going with this? And then they just dropped a freaking bomb on us today with all the special art rares. You got the Mewtwo, you got the Moltres, you got the sick Houndoom art rare, you got the Crobat special art rare. Like, just absurd good hits, good looking cards, a popular Pokemon, exactly what I was hoping that they would do with the set. And then if you include that with Heatwave Arena, turn that into Destin Rivals, that set's going to be insane because there's just hits on hits on hits. But what do you think about it? What do you think?
Like the set, like the makeup of it?
Yeah, just the cards.
I mean, if I go by YouTube content, this is the best set ever. We should invest in it, mortgage the house, like just throw money at it and just buy booster boxes at $2.99. Like that's a great deal.
Sounds good. Stonks.
Right? I mean, like, I like the cards, the set. Like I try not to like get in these arguments with myself, other people, and like this set's great, this set sucks. But it's because at the end of the day, it's like we all are just gonna like certain cards in the set.
Yeah.
And like you're not gonna like all of them. Like I like the Eradicate. I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't like the Eradicate. It's like it is what it is, right? But in terms of Scarlet and Violet, like it feels like they're just moving away from Scarlet and Violet and trying to get us to, I'll take this as a compromise to Johto. Johto's the best generation by far, but if that's what they want to do, that's great. And I didn't realize this until I talked to my friend, the EV Hero.
Mm-hmm.
This version of Rocket is the version of Rocket in Heart Gold Soul Silver. It's not the version of Rocket from Gen Kanto, which I guess I didn't piece 2 and 2 together. So no Jesse and James, you got that other chick, the other dude, whatever. Yeah, I think it's a fine looking set. Awesome. Let's buy some. Let's get it for cheap. Let's sell the singles. And if everyone gets their fair share, what's going to happen is everyone's going to say the set sucks. So same thing happened with Journey.
Well, Journey does kind of suck.
Journey's just fine. People say it sucks because they got enough of it. Like it's just psychology of scarcity, right?
Journey,
it's fine.
It's fine, but it's not Destin Rivals good. It's not even close to Destin Rivals. It's got Clefairy. Sure. It's Clefairy.
The pull rates are better.
That's a set made for the Japanese audience, not for the English audience. The Japanese audience loves the lilies and the trainers with the cute Pokemon and all that stuff. And the English audience is like, who gives a shit about all that? Give me the cool Pokemon. Give me the Mewtwo. Give me the Moltres. Give me the, Ho-Oh. Give me the, like, there seems to be a trainer divide between English and Japanese. And I felt like Journey Together was much more a Japanese tailored set than an English tailored set.
It'll be better than Journey Together. But as they always say, the next set's the best set, and the previous set is the shitty set. So I think it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be good. Personally for me, I don't, unless I get an MSRP or cheaper, I'm not buying a lot of the latest sets because in this market, and as the investor bros like to say, like this crazy bull market that we're in, like the latest sets are not the things to buy if you're trying to make money. It's probably going to be these sets that appreciate the cheapest set that you can find that has appreciated and proven its price. So that's basically Sword and Shield, right? And then in a bear market, when everything's in the dumps, like you just buy the cheapest set that you think is the best. And like the cycle, it's so interesting being around for so long, like 5 years. Like none of this is any different than it was 5 years ago. It's just different flavors, new faces. It's the same thing that's happening over and over again. So I don't know. I'll buy a little bit. I open some, but I'm not gonna focus a lot of my business on the latest sets because like I don't know. I find a lot of the hysteria just mind numbing.
Yeah.
A little brain dead at times.
Yeah. I
Oh,
guess
also, don't forget to buy Crimson Haze. Thanks, Thrifty.
I guess I personally like this set because this set has a bunch of cards that in like 1 or 2 years I'm going to be buying the singles of.
So do you like it as like someone who's just appreciating sets, or do you like it as a collector, as an investor, as like a flipper, as a like what position are you playing in when you say that?
Flipper.
Dirty scalper.
Dirty scalper. I mean, I focus all my buying on popular Pokemon. So up until now, Scarlet and Violet has been ass in terms of popular Pokemon, Pokemon that people are actually going to want. So 151 was good. Terrestrial Festival was good. We've had a couple good cards in between, like the Greninja and the Magikarp and stuff like that. But up until now, it's been kind of sparse for things that in like 2-3 years, I'm going to actually come back and buy, like I'm kind of doing with Sword and Shield right now.
Yeah.
But this set is like, gives me like 10 or 15 cards that I will probably still be looking at 2 years from now that I'll be buying and flipping to people. Because there's just so much popularity. Garchomp, Ho-Oh. It's basically all the SARs from Heat Wave and all the SARs from Team Rocket are all solid, like popular, A+ tier Pokemon. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I just, yeah, I kind of reserve my thoughts because, like, I don't know, there's way too much overexcitement for every new set that comes out. It's like,
oh yeah. That being said,
awesome.
I'm not going to buy any of it until like 2 or 3 years from now. I'll be buying a lot of it in like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But not right now. I'm not going to be buying any of it.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Great set.
Don't forget to pump Crimson.
What is ZOA? Best set I've ever seen.
Yeah. I'm sure nobody will be able to get it. It'll, $300 a box, booster box out of the gate. Everyone's going to complain about it. Everyone's going to keep on keeping on in the current moment. They just showed Pokemon again on the Today Show, I think, and
we made it, boys.
Collectible and expensive and stuff, Pokemon is. So we made it to the prime time again. So yay.
We got to get those people to start looking at our Japanese decks.
Exactly.
Wait till you see the good stuff. Japanese sealed. Crimson Haze, anyone?
Okay, Spat.
151.
This guy keeps saying he won't buy any of it. Spat is expecting me to like buy 30 of the chase card and post a picture in Discord like after I keep saying I'm not going to buy any of it. Yeah, it is funny seeing people, and I get hypercritical sometimes too. I'm not gonna say that I'm devoid of that. But people just being hypercritical about like the Mewtwo, like every Mewtwo that comes out, I feel like people just hate it. It's like,
I have one critique.
I don't want to look at his junk.
Why is Mewtwo always in like a standing fetal position or like a standing chest blast position?
Because he's looking like, down on the peasants. That's
his
thing.
It's just like it's iconic,
he's
but also
powerful.
Like, dude, get over yourself. Like, show us something different.
That's why I love like the Mewtwo Mew GX of the Altar,
the Hadouken stance.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Shit, I don't know what card that is. Whatever. Any other position than like this, the fetal position is good.
Yeah, I don't know. People get weird about like, you remember the Charizard from Billion Stars, and they were like, "Oh, I don't want to look at Charizard's butt." It's like, dude, it's still a cool card. Look at it. Like he's fighting Venusaur. But people get people get hypercritical, and I do it sometimes too. I know Ponga's going to be in the comments after the fact, being like, "You're the most critical person," and yeah, sometimes I am. But you know what? It is what it is. It's always awkward when Pokemon are presenting. I wouldn't say that Mewtwo's presenting. What do you expect Giovanni to do? What do you think is going to happen 5 seconds after that snapshot was taken? There's going to be some weird act, or is he just Like, what? You guys are creating these things. People call me furry bait because I like Lucario and some of those like
Uh,
bipedal Pokemon, and y'all are thinking Giovanni about to give some head to Mewtwo in a freaking card. Like, come
I do
on.
wonder what the design process looks like. Like, do they just have a gigantic design emote wheel of like, here are the only positions Mewtwo is allowed to be in? Like, has to be some of that, right?
That's why I think that promo, the Mewtwo Mew GX promo, is so cool because Mewtwo is looking angry and
Oh,
annoyed, and then you have
this son
Mew
of a
like flying above.
yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Also
it's a
now like
unique.
an $800 card.
Yeah, crazy. That one really shot up. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that card. It's good stuff. Yawning Pikachu for it too, but I do still like that goes for it. Wait, what? Yawning? What is happening? Mewtwo is straight up killing people? Yeah, exactly. Mewtwo's badass. I did see someone in Discord say that like Mewtwo is like peak Mewtwo artwork, and people are just gonna complain about everything because it doesn't match up to that. And it's like, I don't know.
I
It
mean
is a
it's
great artwork,
cool.
but yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's cool. Yeah,
I do
but
like
how
that the
many times can you put Mewtwo in like a test tube? Like you
yeah,
can only do that once, and if they do it again, it'd be weird. So
yeah.
Armor Mewtwo is great too.
Oh, he does have that card of him attacking Charizard. That's true.
That's true.
That's true. That is a
That's
good
very
one.
true.
Um,
Should I? Can I talk about the channel real quick?
yeah, go ahead.
So in my I had uploaded a video yesterday, and I've been really stressed, high in caffeine, just like deliberating. I was gonna delete it, and then I ended up deleting all my videos from 2025. So they're gone forever. So if you're on the channel, the
No.
last upload was like 5 months ago, and okay, it's a little bittersweet because I knew for a long time, I just wasn't willing to accept. Like I had to start a new channel. Like the previous channel, all the 360 no scopes and all the Call of Duty content, like there's just so much data working against me. And like that's not an excuse. It's just my understanding of like the YouTube algorithm. And like in the last year, I've been tracking this existing channel. I've only grown like 1,000 subs, which sounds kind of snotty, but like 1,000 subs is not that much. And so anyway, this existing channel I'm archiving, and the channel that I'm going to use moving forward will be Earn Collects Cards. And it's going to be the name until I fully move over Earn Collects into that username. Fresh channel, fresh start. So, I get a free shout out here. So, you guys haven't subscribed, subscribe. But yeah,
Where
this channel is donezo.
where is the new channel? I gotta find it so that I can link it.
It's literally just Earn Collects Cards.
I feel like I was looking for it and I couldn't find it.
But yeah, I also am the type that doesn't back up their own content, like a terrible content creator. And so
Yeah, send
no
me
more videos.
send me the link after the video and I will, because I cannot find it. It's not popping up when I search it. Unless you want to just post it in the chat or send me it on Instagram. I can post it in chat. Yeah. What else? Oh. Which videos are gone? All the videos from 2025, basically.
Literally every video that has my deepest, darkest secrets now gone. Yeah. Anyway.
I wanted to ask you because you're a person who actually had to do this recently. You moved houses. And I think one thing that a lot of people don't quite understand is, especially sealed investor people, is the amount of space and the hassle it can be to move all that shit. So, what was the process like moving everything? I know you have a storage container, I think, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
how did
when I
that go?
moved from LA up to the Bay Area, I live in Napa now, near Josh the old card shop. I rented the storage unit for basically everything that I didn't want to put on my display. And I think you saw the display before, like last year. And that was like, man, booster boxes, ETBs, ETB cases, collection boxes, English, Japanese, just like a bunch of crap. And over the last 3 or 4 months, I've been just slowly selling as much of it I can off. And the sealed investor crowd, like the new guys that are entering the space, like many of them have no idea what it means to hold a booster box and not open it and like put it in storage for more than a year, 2 years, 3 years. Like it just eats up space and then you forget about it. You got to go check on it, make sure the condition's good, all these sorts of things. And so as I'm moving, I actually spent an entire day with Rob, Red or Blue. He does a Japanese booster box breaks.
Yeah.
He came down from Sacramento. He helped me move. I moved it to another storage unit. And we took all day just to move that storage unit of cards to the other one. Thankfully, I at least had spent time last year like organizing some of the storage. Like I put Japanese booster boxes in like these, not Pyrex, but like Sterilite. I don't know what they're called, like rubber. Anyway, I did a pretty good job of organizing this stuff. And so moving was like not that big of a hassle. But like if you see the Pokemon investing subreddit, when people post their stashes, they just have like closets from the bottom to the top of like ETB, booster box. Like they're just stacking this stuff up. No organization, right? And so if you're getting into it, even though I don't, really recommend investing, being organized and then just trimming as much fat as possible. Like there are people who just buy everything under the sun because, if it's available, it's a good investment, right? It's a good purchase. But honestly, like up until PC ETBs, the best purchases were booster boxes. Maybe you can make the case for ETBs, but just booster boxes. So yeah, I went through that process. It was grueling, fun, fine, whatever. I got help. And so, yeah, I'm hauling basically like a 1-bedroom studio apartment with me wherever I go. And it's not even my stuff. It's just my my investments.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I think the whole storage space, then moving it around, eventually selling it. I mean, you eventually have to find people
Selling
who are willing
sucks.
to, put the actual money
Sucks.
in. I feel like when stuff is appreciated so much and you want to move things like to a streamer, to a lot of the times streamers are going to be the ones who are going to buy that stuff because that's basically like, I feel like an expensive booster box nowadays, unless it's going to like a really high end collector, then like streamers are going to be your best bet. But streamers are also going to want a deal.
Or use my code, earn collects, sealed chiss consignments. Send your seal
there you
today.
go. Yeah, true.
I mean,
You can sell via
Probstein.
consignment.
You have Green Chiz. You have Probstein now, who you could ship them a rock and they would just like list it and sell it for you, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier. I sold a decent amount of that stuff in storage to Nick, old school Pokemon, because like he's just like, I posted a list of stuff, and of course I get DMs, but people want to like cherry pick and they ask all these questions. I'm like, God, someone just buy all my stuff. He's like, I'll buy it all. I'm like, thank God. So I put it in like these 30 by 30 or 25 by 25 by 25 UPS boxes. It weighed 100 pounds. Shipped it to him, got paid. Great transaction. But yeah, what you said is right. Like, it's not easy to sell. Before this recent bull market, I think people are delusional when they think that like there are a ton of people with more than 4 figures that want to buy stuff. Like moving booster boxes and anything that's above $1,000 outside of this boom, right? Like before, it's not simple to do. Like you have to go and find those buyers or maybe Collecticon. You couldn't just like post it online and like hope for someone to buy. I sat on a box of Ancient Origins, which obviously it's like $2,500 now. I tried to sell it at market and then 10% under market for like 45 days on eBay and TCG Player.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
No bite.
I think Ponga had not an Ancient Origins. Oh, he had a Primal Clash box at the show this weekend, and he's like, I just want to try and move it, and I think it was like 2K or something like that. I'm not sure if he ended up selling it, but that just seems like a box that's just like you got to find the right streamer running the right like event or something.
Yeah.
Like opening all the XY booster boxes or something like that. Like, who are you actually going to sell something like that to for a decent price?
Those products don't have great sell through because the reselling aspect of it is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to find someone that was going to pay more than what you paid. But I mean, this market, like, dude, anything can happen. Like last week, I think as of 3 weeks ago, Team Up was selling for like 5,500 or 5,500, 6,000. 2 months ago, it was selling for 4,000.
Yeah.
So, anything can happen when the market's going crazy.
What do you make of the idea that basically rip and ships are the only, like, in my opinion, I could be wrong. Sealed investing has become obviously very popular after 2020 because people saw how much the booster boxes prior to 2020 went up, and now they have, they have seen some of the Sword and Shield boxes and stuff do very well. So it just becomes more and more popular over time. The whole sealed thing, like buying stuff, putting in the closet, waiting for it to appreciate, and then selling. But there's more people doing it now than probably ever before, especially on like Sword and Shield sets and Scarlet Violet sets. Do you think that in the future, the only way that these boxes hold high prices is rip and ships? Like
are they the main pair of demand now and then in the future?
Yeah. Like if rip and ships went away, just hypothetically, I don't think they're going to, but if rip and ships died out, like people started to reject them because there was too much scamming or something like that, and then they just died out eventually. Do you think sealed investments do well at all in the future?
I think what will happen is, just like with Japanese, I think Japanese market would enter a really dark time because there's a lot of Japanese product out there that honestly, from my perspective, it only gets purchased because it's getting ripped.
No.
And that's through rip and ships. And so, I think there's some sets obviously like will always stand the test of time, blah, 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 blah. But like there's a lot of product out there that's only being purchased because of rip and ships. And there are people who think they're smarter than they don't understand like all these variables, right? So they're like, okay, I'm kind of a dumbass because I bought like 6 cases of Crimson Haze, but like I believe in the set. So but I think there are people who are like, oh yeah, like everything goes up. So I want to buy every single set. And as a result, like that's a good investment. It's like, no, we are in a different time. And one of the variables is rip and ships could explode even further. They could also slow down. There could also be a preference change from Japanese to English, right? And so it's not a given that in the future, some of that stuff is going to be in demand. I do think though, like based on what you said, if rip and ships slow down, I think everything that is like, I say below the fold, so like less popular, that's the stuff that carries the highest risk of like just being dead money. And people don't remember this, but there are a lot of Sword and Shield sets and Sun and Moon sets that are literally dead money. Early Sword and Shield, maybe not in Japan, maybe not for IBEX, but like outside of Japan, some of those you could bring those boxes to shows and no one would even know what it is or want to buy it, and their market price is like higher, a couple $100, several $100, but like that doesn't tell you anything about liquidity. Market price, I've always believed it to be like a BS number. It's a BS metric because like one, it can be manipulated, but two, it's literally just what the last person paid. So if the item that you're trying to sell has, I don't know, one or two quantity on the market and it was purchased 3 months ago, then the market price is what someone paid 3 months ago. And it's like that doesn't really give you the security that you need to like confidently invest like $10,000 into that set. So based on what you said, I do agree with, but man, it's fun to play with fire. Like it's like, but that time hasn't come yet. And so it's not this is one of those things where it's like it might be true, it probably will happen, but like I don't see it happening anytime soon. Therefore, let's all continue to grow our collections, make money, cardboard go up, like take advantage of what's going on now because we are living the times now where shit's going wild and like the market's going crazy.
Yeah.
There's it's not that I don't agree. I do agree. It's more so it's not helpful for me to bring to life what you said and to agree with it in practice because sell through's everything, man. Like that's what I've learned. Excuse me. As someone who focused a lot more on Japanese niche stuff like 2 or 3 years ago, if you have the liquidity and you can sell through stuff, like that's all that matters. And
Yeah.
we're in a hot market right now. Like, just don't buy stupid stuff. Don't buy, this is why, the investment channels. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Yeah. So one thing
Um,
one thing that I would add is I think that a lot of people think that rip and chips basically that rip and chips is fairly new and it will continue to grow because it's like the new sexy way to buy cards and to hang out with the community and do all that fun stuff. But rip and chips were huge in the first boom. You had people like Island Grown partnering up with all the bigger, Twitch streamers and stuff, and he was kind of the biggest person on that platform doing rip and chips. He'd get like probably 2 or 3 thousand people, tons of people buying from him. He could sell boxes at like 2 times MSRP because of how hard stuff was to get, and really buying for more than MSRP on these streams was the only way to actually get product if you wanted to buy something.
well, I would also add like Island Grown's a good example. He was entertainment scarce. He was like there wasn't a lot of people like him, and so the demand was way higher than what was available in terms of entertainment. And now we're in a day and age where it's like I can go find a random streamer and go buy a random box of Japanese or English on whatnot or whatever website, and like there are endless people to buy from. And so I think the time was a little bit different then, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and just with Island Grown, for instance, and where I was going with that was that, and not to shit on Island Grown or anything, but I think it's a good example because he really blew up from that. He didn't carry his viewers when the boom ended. His rip and ship stream went back down to 3 to 700 viewers from 3 to 5K viewers. And rip and ships are not bulletproof, just like everything in this hobby is not bulletproof. If demand goes down overall in Pokemon, rip and ships will also be affected. I don't think that which if rip and ships are significantly affected and there's less streamers on the market doing their thing because there's less demand for it, what else is that going to hit? Sealed investments. It's going to hit. There's going to be less people to sell to. There's going to be less, and it's a downturn for everybody when the demand goes down.
It's gonna happen with if it's not rip and chips, it's gonna be mystery packs or I don't know, right? But I think the larger point is like capitalize on what's going on and just do the thing. Where I was talking about before, like where I get really annoyed with like investor content, it's like, oh yeah, and if you would have just invested in every Sword and Shield set, Java, you would have made 5x your money. It's like, do you understand what it was like to buy Vivid Voltage at launch and then continue to hold on to it?
Yeah, $200 a box.
$2 a box. And like there was a point to Vivid Voltage was not selling more than a few units on TCG Player in a month. And so like people like to draw these grand conclusions about here's how you should invest, what you should buy. And it's like, no, just buy the thing that's most liquid. Stop making it complicated because it's not more complicated than that. And then like you'll be set. Stop digging into the niches and like trying to find like these secret. Everyone's trying to find like all these different secrets, like these things you could have bought, and it's like there's a reason why people didn't buy it because it wasn't safe. It wasn't a safe bet. And if you tripled your money on a Evolving Skies box, that was a great time to exit. Like I did, 3x, 5x, 6x. Like, of course, if I knew if they would have gone to 20 or 30x, I would have held on to it, but like, can't predict these things.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I know that Terrestrial ETB PC ETB boxes are probably a lot higher than what I sold them at launch, but I'm happy I got out of them because it was literally like 5x or whatever. So
A good call. I don't think the liquidity for PC ETBs is I think the liquidity will be a problem for those in the future. They're everywhere if you go to shows, even my shows. You see a bunch of them just hanging out and I don't see them being sold. So
well, because I can imagine that most people are not ripping those. Those are probably the one thing that like I know most people. I ripped a couple recently for Journey Together. It was a bad idea.
I love gambling, dude. I can't
Yeah.
help it. Like if I can hit that jackpot and like, no,
Yeah.
it feels good.
If there's one thing that is probably the most scalp, the most invested in product, it is definitely probably the PCETBs.
Like per person per unit. Yeah, that makes sense.
Probably as a
Because everyone
percentage.
could
Yeah.
get it. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like affordable and that kind of thing.
Is rip and shipping counteracting investing, or are rip and ships securing investing?
Ooh.
I think it's securing investing right now. I think people investing in these products and the sealed product going up is a direct correlation with rip and ships. I think if rip and ships go down or disappear, the sealed investors that are holding on to Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield are going to have a rough day.
Well, the rip and ship demand. So if you think about demand and what's causing it, rip and ship is a part of it. But as time goes on, rip and ships aren't affecting the demand of older product. And so
I
there's
still think
probably
that
going to be
they
a surplus
are.
of what? Dude, people are not doing rip and ships for like Sun and Moon stuff and XY and stuff. It rarely happens compared to Scarlet and Violet.
I mean, there's going to be so much of it, though. You don't think people are going to be ripping Evolving Skies in 5 years, going for Moonbryon?
No, sorry. There's always the exception, and I think Evolving is going to be the exception, right? I mean, even Dan's buying at like $25 a pack, right?
Yeah.
So like I think there's always going to be a desire to get like the hottest set from a certain era. I mean the sets like do we think Paradox is going to be opened up 5 or 6 years from now?
Depending on who you ask, but I would say no.
Yeah, I don't think so, right? And I think like the new age investor now is basing a lot of their decisions based on today's demand. But what they aren't accounting for is that the demand may stay the same, but it changes, like the preference changes to something else. And so you can't naturally assume that because today's demand is driving a lot of the sell through, that in the future that's indicative of what's going to happen with all your investments. This is the variable that was not around 5 years ago, right? Like this is the part where if like you've over indexed on Scarlet and Violet versus Sword and Shield or Sun and Moon, that's the huge risk factor I think that you're taking on that the other eras didn't really have.
Yeah, it's interesting. Hold on now.
Got him.
It's something that I think about too, is like why I think about this despite, not even holding sealed product at all. But I think about it because I think,
man, it's fun.
I think like who's going to want to rip this in the future? What about this set is going to be something that someone's going to want to rip? So we talk about like, I mean, people shit on me for it, but Paldea Evolved. There's one hit, and it's the Magikarp. That's going to be the thing.
And a Raichu.
Yeah, but those are ARs. Okay. I mean,
it's a IR in English.
Whatever. Okay, so maybe Paldea is not the best, but Paradox Rift. Like, who's actually gonna want to rip for the Dino Suicune? Ooh, he's so excited. It's like there's gonna be some sets that are gonna be like $400 a box, and no one's gonna want to open it. And it's like, wait, but why is this $400 a box? It doesn't make any sense.
The
Nobody's
sealed
gonna
box
buy this
premium.
thing for me.
So the other variables like the sealed box premium or whatever were like over time there's only so many of the boxes that exist. Black and white sets, right? The black and white boxes are still like thousands of dollars, even though the sets, the EV is super low. I think that variable is going to take way longer to kick in because there's way more supply. I mean, this This is just like basic math, right? It's like, how long do you think it's going to take to appreciate, measured against how much supply there is and how much demand? And if there's way
But
more scarlet and
why does
violet,
it appreciate? If there's nothing
because
good in
there's
the
a
set, then
collector's
why
premium.
does it
There's a
appreciate?
collector's premium on sealed. That is true. That is something that does exist. That's why black and white boxes are worth $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. The cards in them are ass.
But at the end of the
compared-
day, so you're saying that some end collector is holding on to a black and white box and it's never going to get ripped?
Yeah.
Ever?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
because
of
it's
course.
it's a
Because
sealed box that's going to sit in a collection?
Absolutely. There are what is the worst? The worst set is like emerging power, noble victories, emerging powers. One of the black and white sets.
But how many
Its
people
EV
out there
is
are
like
actually doing this?
$100. Huh?
How many people out there actually do? How many people are going to buy
Okay.
a $500?
It's not a lot, but it still
Paradox Rift
doesn't.
box
This is why I
just to
said
have
market
sitting on the
price.
shelf.
This is why I said market price is BS, because like it's those 2 people in the world or 5 people in the world that are carrying that market price. And so like it's not that I agree with you that like this is like some crazy stuff, but it is a real thing where people want these boxes sealed regardless of what's inside. I can't explain either. I wouldn't do it. I mean, but you know.
Yeah, that I won't be doing that. That's for sure. Because I can't imagine. I'm just trying to think about how much of this is being held. Like how can a Sword and Shield box that doesn't have that many hits, let's say Rebel Clash, how can a Rebel Clash box hit $1,000 a box? How can that happen when there's so many out there?
Well,
like in my brain, that'll never happen because it doesn't make any sense for it to.
I'm gonna throw out some dark thoughts to people, to us, everyone here. There's like 5 people here, right? If 10 of us wanted to, we could buy up every box of Rebel Clash on eBay and TCG Player, and the market would then change to whatever market price we left it at. That is how paper thin and sensitive Pokemon is with some of the sets. Now, obviously, I wouldn't do that. Rebel Clash is a terrible set, but it still doesn't change though that there are people, this nefarious group of 10 people who purchased all these boxes, and again, other people wouldn't know it was 10 people, and there's people with recorded payments paying prices up to $1,000. That could literally happen tomorrow. And honestly, that stuff happens more than people know. It just rebounds for certain cards and boxes. But that's all it takes. I don't know how many Rebel Clash boxes are on TCG Player, but you could do that. Okay, I wouldn't do that.
This comment has me hot because this doesn't make any sense at all. Can you make this make sense? Illustrator Pikachu doesn't serve any more purpose than a Paradox Rift box might hold in 1 year. That's one of the most insane things I've seen in my comment section in a long time. I guess depends on what they mean by purpose, but you're talking about probably the most sought after card in the history of the hobby, the most iconic card, apart from maybe base set Charizard in the history of the hobby.
It's just about who's willing to pay for it. Who's willing to pay whatever price, and then is that price going to be recorded and being in public? That's it. What was it? Logan Paul bought that Illustrator for like 2.4 million or whatever, and then immediately dropped down because the next person who bought one didn't pay as much.
Yeah, but we're talking about a card that has 100. Is there more than 100 of them?
Rarity doesn't mean anything. It's like
rarity absolutely just does mean.
No. Rarity and scarcity are independent variables. Rarity literally just means how many there are, and you can have something that's rare that's not scarce.
Okay.
Scarcity means how much are there in relation to how much demand there is. So strong scarcity is there's way more demand than there is supply, right? You can have something that's rare that nobody wants. I mean, we should know this. We bought X and Y, mid-era, EX cards.
Yeah, but
like,
Paradox Rift
those are
isn't rare, and nobody
nobody
wants
wanted them. You know what I mean? Like, that's rarity, but like, if you want liquidity, don't buy those cards. If you want cement, buy those cards, because no one's. I mean, this is then. I think they're more liquid now, but rarity doesn't mean anything. It just means how many there are. Like, it literally just is highlighting the quantity.
Yeah, but that's pretty important. I mean, I guess
It's
guess
arbitrary.
Right, but doesn't rarity just lead into scarcity? Because
No, because there's things that can be
there's
rare.
if there's only 10 that existed, but 1,000 people want it, it has rarity and it's scarce.
Yeah, but okay, you're
Like, something
saying
can't be scarce if it's not
but
rare.
you're saying that the demand is preceding or comes with the rarity. What I'm saying is that something can be rare and it cannot be scarce.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Right? And so that means that
But
rarity
you
in
need
itself
rarity for
is
something to be
not the reason
scarce.
why. Huh?
But you need rarity for something to be scarce.
No, because you can have, Destin Rival is a good example.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right. Because you could,
All the
like,
booster
Moonbryon is
boxes,
not rare,
all
but
the dum-dums buying it like $300, like, oh my god, it's so
yeah,
scarce, so hard to
okay,
find. It's
yeah,
like, no, it's not. You're just getting wrecked on like
yeah,
prices. So anyway, I mean, there's like pop 5, pop 10 unlimited EX cards, XY cards. People don't value the rarity. They're willing to pay the same price as they would like first edition versus unlimited for some of those cards.
So then the gamble is that someone will actually want it
Yeah.
in the future for the price that it appreciates to.
That's right. And it's funny. I had a hyper metal chain deck Dialga EX. I'm going to test your Japanese knowledge. You know what that's the Phantom Forces Dialga, the silver one.
Yeah.
In Japanese, it comes in like decks. Like one out of every
really?
6 decks has it. Yeah, it's the cool. Dude, Japanese, they have the coolest shit.
Yeah.
One out of like every 6 decks has that card randomly inserted in it. That's how you got it. Anyway, when I had that card, I had a guy collecting that era unlimited cards reach out to me. He's like, I'm an unlimited collector. Like, I really would like to buy this card. He ended up paying me like $1,200 for it. The card only comes in unlimited. I was like, okay, here you go.
Yeah. Unlimited E-Series enters the chat. Ernie Galaxy Brain. Yeah, Ernie is way more Galaxy Brain than I am right now. That's for sure. I still don't disagree with Zorner cards, though. I'm sorry, man.
Wait, what are we even agreeing or disagreeing on? I don't understand.
I don't even really know because I don't. Okay, hold on. Illustrator Pikachu doesn't serve any more purpose than Paradox Rift might hold in. He said 10 years. I guess he clarified. It's only valuable because someone values it based on its scarcity. I mean, I think there's a lot of other reasons why it's valuable, but scarcity is definitely one of them.
Scarcity. We're talking about a $200 booster box versus a card that sold for 2 point whatever million. Like, I don't know. I agree.
You agree with who?
Invest more. That's all I got to say.
Buy Rebel Clash.
Buy Rebel Clash. Actually, buy Crimson Haze.
All right, Quilly said, but to Java's point, I think rare cards tend to become scarce because the people that own them may be less likely to sell if price moves. If Moonbryon doubles, you better believe scarcity goes down. True.
I agree with that. I was also personally just giving you crap, but yeah, I agree with that.
No, yeah, it's good. I mean, I learned something today.
I think I'm more so just calling out people who think low pop is like the thing, and
it still has to have demand. Yeah,
it has to have demand. Like, you can buy. There's so many mid-era, EX era, XY era cards unlimited that have like sub 10 pop that nobody would buy from you for any more than the first edition versions.
Yeah, it's just the whole sealed investing thing, just especially in the last 2 eras, it just doesn't make sense to me at all. Like, I just think like,
I mean, I'm buying a lot of Sword and Shield confidently.
I know
nowadays, that is. But I've also been able to like go through that with Sun and Moon, flip a lot of that holding for however many years, and now I want to. Yeah. So at this point in time during Sword and Shield, I bought Sun and Moon, English and Japanese.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, the Sun and Moon sets, Cosmic, Unbroken, Ultra Prism, Unified Minds, they were the same price ranges ish than Sword and Shield today. So in my head, I'm like, deja vu. Okay. Those sets appreciated. They're good sets. People actually want them. We're priced in now. Demand has actually met the market price. Feels like a safe buy. Feels like a safe investment. So I'm okay buying that stuff. I bought.
But wouldn't you agree that those sets were probably a lot rarer than any set in Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet because we didn't have sealed investing during the Sun and Moon era to the degree
but
that
I think
we have now?
I think there's way more people that are going to affect the price of Sword and Shield stuff than there were Sun and Moon. I think demand's going to be higher at the same point in time, years from now.
You think 5 years from now people will want to rip Sword and Shield boxes?
No, not rip. I mean, you don't have to. They don't have to rip it for the market price to go up. Like people just want to buy it to hold it, store value,
Yeah,
right?
but that's got to be such a small part of the market that are going to be willing to buy. Like this just goes back.
dude.
It's like Rebel Clash for $500. Who's actually going to buy that to put it on a shelf? Like that's
not
a
Rebel Clash,
small
obviously.
buyer pool.
I'm definitely not buying the Rebel Clash equivalent of whatever Sun and Moon sets were. But like 5 years from now, I would bet that there are people who want to collect Evolving Skies. It's not about ripping. Like I think what you get once you get north of like $1,000, I don't think most people are buying to rip. It's like display pieces, storing money. I mean, one thing that's happening now in our market is you get a lot of crypto money coming over. They're storing the value in cards. People don't know that. It's because it's a safe alternative.
Yeah, but
investment.
that person eventually has to sell it to realize gains.
Maybe
Who are they going to sell it to?
eventually, or trade it for something else, or you know. But the point is, like, they're not buying to rip; they're buying it because it is going to retain its value, and that value is going to keep going up and up and up. That's why I bought Evolving Skies at like 1,200. Yeah, I did. I did it. I bought 3 Evolving Skies at 11, 12, and 1150, and it's because I think it's probably a better use of my money at that time for right now, and I know it's not going to crash. I mean, sorry, I don't know anything. I'm pretty sure it won't crash.
Way less sealed investors in actuality. I disagree with this take. I think there's a ton of sealed investors.
I think there's way less sealed investors of things that are more than $500 to $1,000. I think there are way more sealed investors of Scarlet and Violet because people are dum-dums. And YouTube content is contagious.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just can't make it make sense. I just think about like, yeah, it just, nope. In my brain, it just doesn't equate.
How about we create a fund? We chop it up 10 ways amongst us.
Why are you more, and maybe this is the worst time to ask this because of what's been happening in the market in the last like week or two, but prior to January of this year, why are you more confident in the gains you'll receive from a $1,200 Evolving Skies booster box than putting that money into the market?
Like the actual market?
Yeah. Like,
I don't take
or
the money I'm taking out is to like pay for certain things, but I keep all my money in the hobby. Like I'm good on that front. Like I've worked for years. I'm in my late 30s. Like that's like a separate. My wife would love for me to do that. I keep things separate because I want to grow my cards empire, my cards business, and keep it separate from like my personal money.
So because it's cards money, you're more willing to put it into something that may or may not be a more or less volatile investment?
No, I mean I just wouldn't I just wouldn't take cards money and put it into like stocks and stuff. I don't transfer money back and forth between the two markets. I
Right.
keep everything in cards, and anything I make in cards, I keep it in cards.
Yeah.
And I figure out ways to further grow it or store it. But I think like I have a different risk profile, and like I've been playing with house money for so long. This is why I'm kind of a fan of like smart. I don't like calling investing like parking of money, because I've seen substantial benefit from like buying a bunch of Dream League and then selling it for like 20x, right? But I'm able to like do these moves and plays because I know exactly what I'm doing in the hobby. Most people though are like trying to figure out like, oh, their brokerage and their investments and standard investments, and like, oh, market's not doing good, so they put it into Pokemon. Like they're going back and forth. I keep it completely separate, and I do that because like the hobby for me is very therapeutic. It's like a huge stress reliever. It's like the thing I do to have fun. The thing I do to socialize and challenge myself. And like real life sucks. Real life is hard, and I want to keep that stuff separate. Like my hobby's my fun hobby. Sure, there's money involved. Sure, I take money out from time to time now to like pay for stuff, but like that's my thing. I don't want to cross streams and like go sell my Evolving Skies to go buy some Amazon. Just like I I really have to have something that tames me and like that I enjoy. And I
Hmm.
can just tell if I did that, this whole hobby would suck. Like I just wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess if everything, I mean, yeah, if you have all your buckets filled, right?
Like Dan
Then,
says, if your bucket's filled,
yeah.
or even if if you have different priorities, like I think the challenge though with some of these investor dudes is like they don't know what the priorities are, and they're like chasing. It's really like this crypto crowd that's coming in. You can get rich, you can make money real fast, you can like not have to work. Just here's a shortcut, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of sad, honestly.
How many? I mean, this is obviously just like an estimate, but how many sealed investors would you say are just like midterm flippers? They're not really investing in it. They just want a percentage and then they sell. Because I can imagine
Like
that's a lot.
how many approach it with like a margin based goal versus time based goal?
Yeah. Like Pokemage
Oh yeah,
says, it's like most people are not going to be holding these boxes for 5 years. They're going to hold
oh
their
yeah.
box for like
Dude,
1 or 2 years, get 30% and then sell.
those people are delusional dummies. Like 5 years, 5 years is a long ass time. And when I hear that from people, it's like you're regurgitating what someone told you because the other person may or may not have done it. But the point is that like the time variable doesn't matter in this kind of hobby, because like you never know what's going to happen. 6 months ago, we're all just kind of like, oh yeah, hobby's fine. We're cruising. Everything's okay. And then Surging Spark came. Like you can't predict those things. And so for me, when I think about investing or whatever, it's really just about, oh, did that double or triple? Oh, cool. Has it been 6 months? Oh, all right. Has it been a year? Okay. And then it's just constantly reassessing like where are we at? Where's the market at? What product am I holding? And being okay that like I'm gonna sell this thing when it hits. I don't know. I sold a lot of my Paradox at like $200, or not 200, 170. I bought a lot of it at 90. That's close to 100%. That's like 90%. That's really good. When I bought it last year, I had no idea it was going to go up that fast. Take that money, do something else with it. But like, if you fall in love with this idea that like the time horizon is what you have to do, that is like traditional finance investment advice. And then dum dums taking that. Sorry, I'm like being totally rude to people I've never met. They're taking that same concept and applying it to Pokemon. Pokemon is not a regulated market. There's shit that happens all the time that you wouldn't believe. Numbers are manipulated. There's deals. It's just like you got to get your fix and then go on to the next thing. If you believe that this is a market that's like the financial markets, you've been drinking the wrong Kool-Aid. And man, waiting 4 or 5 years, that is not good advice, because You never
But
know
that
what can
is, I
happen.
mean, it's a meme now, right? In the different discords and stuff, we say Pokemon always goes up, and and it's but that is what's preached by these channels, or at least in
Yeah.
the past, that is what's preached by the channel. So it's like, well, the longer you hold it, the more rich you're going to be in the future.
And
Um,
Pokemon only goes up, but your life can only go down if you don't take care of real life stuff, pay bills, and you know,
yeah,
eh, my advice: go get a job, people.
yeah, get a
Go work a
job.
job, have a family, go make disposable income somehow. Flip car, okay. So this is honest advice: learn to sell.
Yes,
I like telling people this. Be a seller. Go vend at events. Go go through your collection and sell the stuff you don't like. I think a lot of the people who get into investing, like they only know how to accumulate. And it's like, bro, this is not a brokerage website like Morgan Stanley or whatever, or Fidelity. You can't just click a button and sell your stuff. And so in the future, when you do need to sell, these people don't have that skill set. They don't understand how the markets work. They just assume that like they can liquidate at any time. And I think, I've learned so much from being a seller and vendor, like where the margins come from, how to build the collection, how to get deals, how to negotiate, obviously the friendships and the socialization stuff. Um, I think that's like the hidden, I don't know, the hidden secret. Like once you figure out how deals are made, how do you sell to vendors and how you do trades and all that stuff, like then it starts to unlock this whole new kind of perspective on how this kind of hobby works.
yeah,
But don't invest. Like Jesus, so dumb.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah. Um, hmm. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate this back and forth because I learned a lot, and I learned
But
a
you
lot
should
from you.
invest,
Ernie.
by the way, because you're in a good spot.
I do invest, just not in Pokemon. uh, yeah. So let's see. I have been asking every one of my people, my interviews so far, for a hot take, which I feel like we've been giving hot takes all night, a hot take, and then an act of kindness. So either one that happened to you by somebody else or one that you did for somebody. So if you want to give us maybe a hot take, and then we can follow that up with an act of kindness. Something around
I think.
Pokemon or in the hobby or.
Oh my God, this might ruffle some people's feathers. Maybe
I'm
yours,
ready
because I know
for it.
you're part. You may be a part of this. The artist has nothing to do with the card's future value.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
And
you.
this one comes from. I was in one of the investment discords. But I love I don't know why I do this myself. I love like lurking and just seeing what people talk about.
Yeah.
These guys are having this debate. It's like Shinji Kanda. That's exactly why these cards are going to go up in the future, because there's a generation of kids who only know Shinji Kanda and his amazing artworks. Therefore, you should invest in the Magneton PC ETB promo today.
God.
And I'm just like,
Was he also selling them?
so no, he wasn't. So this is actually when I engaged with. I quickly just Googled top 10 cards drawn by Arita, and I sent it. Literally every card on that list outside of the dark, I think dark Charizard. I'm not a fan of. I don't remember the artist stuff, so don't kill me. Every other card was like a sub $5 card, a sub $10 card.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, people love to make up like these truths about like why something's going to happen in the future, when it's funny, they probably won't even be around when that time comes. But also like, stop making things so complicated. Like,
Yeah.
if people buy it, they buy it. They don't buy it, they don't buy it. Who cares if they like the color or the artist or whatever? Anyway, that's my hot take. Is like the artist has nothing to do with the card's
No.
existing or future value.
I 1,000% agree. I know for some reason it's become a meme in different discords and stuff, but art is completely subjective. Whether or not someone's gonna like, some people like Jackson Pollock paintings. Have you seen a Jackson Pollock painting? I have, and it's not really anything to write home about. I could probably make a Jackson Pollock painting in my backyard tonight. It's like it just doesn't. some art is going to appeal to some people, some art is going to appeal to other people. I do think that art is a factor, but it's like the last factor. There are so many other fundamentals that I would put above it,
Yeah.
that when it comes, like, sure, there are some Charizards that are like extremely dumb and derpy looking, and they don't, they don't do as well as some of the more beautiful looking Charizards. But it's like, at the end of the day, there's going to be someone out there who's going to like the derpy looking Charizard because there's so many Charizard collectors. Whereas Magneton can have the coolest Shinji Kanda artwork, but 10 years from now, is anyone going to want to buy that card? There might be a Magneton collector out there, but there's going to be a lot less of those than there are Charizard collectors out there. And so,
Huge fan of Shinji Kanda.
yeah,
Just kidding.
I like Shinji Kanda, but yeah, I mean, the art is definitely not as important as a lot of people make it out to be. 100%.
Remember when the actress that did the voiceover for Misty passed away?
Yeah, was that this year or
Right? Was
last
it
year?
Misty? I think it was last year.
Misty?
Anyway, there's like discourse around like, are Misty cards gonna do better? I'm like, oh my god, you guys!
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Well,
what are we doing?
That's a real dark part about the autograph part of the hobby, is like, there's probably so many of those people like, when is Arita gonna kick the bucket? My collection's gonna 10 times the price. It's like, it's such a disgusting like part of that that side of things.
But I think the autos are different though, because that would make sense.
Yeah.
But a general card that like that the person didn't draw and they're just like the voiceover of, I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't know. Let's see what Ibex has to say. There are some older cards from certain artists that do have premium or harder to find, but it's always minor difference. Some random Pokemon older non-hollows from my Kasube binder were priced higher than other cards.
I should probably just clarify one thing. I think that like the global or the US market versus Japanese market, I think there are obviously like nuances between differences, right? And so, my statement isn't like it could never happen. It's more so it probably is not going to be the main driver for a lot of the cards in the future. And like, I don't think a card's going to go to like $5,000 because of some artist drew it.
Yeah.
And it's not a signature, right? But, nothing's ever 100% true. It's never black or white. Like there's always going to be different edge cases based on where you are and, what you see.
Yeah. I agree with that. And I definitely disagree with people who say the art right now is the best art we've seen in the hobby. I think that people look at full arts and they look at it and say there's more art on the card, therefore it's better. But when you look at E Series and Neo and some of those artworks, if you extrapolated that all the way, like if that was a full art, we'd be saying about how beautiful that Jolteon is with the little Togepi, or how, gorgeous the whatever card from E Series is because, oh, it's a full art. It's got all the background and everything. I do think that some people are like, oh, it's the best art we've seen in the hobby. And it's literally just because it covers more of the card. I do think the art is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fantastic. I think all the cards look amazing and great and awesome and yada, yada, yada. But I think it takes up more of the card. Therefore, people think that it's better.
I have no horse in this race. Just please pump Crimson Haze. I'm really
Crimson Haze. It's got the Giratina, guys.
Greninja,
the Greninja, not Giratina, the Greninja. Oh, and the Eevee. Yeah, exactly. That's a hot set. Yeah,
it's doing well.
All right. Paradigm Trigger to the moon. Hey, it's got Lugia. Come on. What about Japanese Pokemon Go? Solid.
I will spill the beans. I've been buying the Mewtwo V in Japanese and in English.
I buy it too.
Graded and raw.
Yeah.
And this is the beauty of playing with house money and being reckless like I am. Man, I see that card going up. I'm not ashamed to say that. Like I bought 6 or 7 copies at the show the other weekend, and like people were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, honestly, having fun.
Yeah, that's another
And this
card that
card's great.
is way too hated. They're like, I don't like it because he's up in the sky and it looks weird. And it's like, no, it's a Mewtwo. It'll do fine.
Great card.
Mewtwo collectors will want it.
See, Pogo cards are catching steam on. I'm telling you, this is gonna be. If I can get 1% of the entire population, I'll be happy.
I miss the 2 Pokemage, especially the Japanese ones. They're so beautiful. I wish we would have gotten the rest of the mystical and legendary cards in Amazing Rares. They're so good looking.
The Japanese they're not easy to find anymore.
No,
not the three, not the three. You know what I'm talking about? Not Kyogre and Reshiram and the Y dude Yveltal, but the other ones like
Rayquaza,
Celebi. Those are harder to find.
Jirachi, yeah. I will forever lose money on Amazing Rares. I just bought one this weekend, actually.
In Japanese?
No, in English. In English, yeah. It was a Raikou. It was very well centered and minty. So I think
Wait, in English, did they come guaranteed in booster boxes? I forget. Is it like Japanese?
I think you got 2 per. You were guaranteed 2 per booster box. You might have been able to get 3, but it was basically like 2 per box. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I remember Shiny Star V, you get three per box no matter what, and there was the same 3, obviously.
Yeah. In Vivid, you were guaranteed. I don't know. Well, obviously the other one, they came in the specialty set for the other few. So, but yeah, talk about a good style for a card that didn't last long enough.
Those were the days, man. Simpler times. Simpler times.
All right. So, act of kindness, something that someone did for you, something you did for someone, something you witnessed somebody do. Just anything. We got to throw some kindness into the mix with all this negativity right now.
Yeah, I'll something someone did for me, fellow vendor. He goes by Sue. Sue Seichow. He's in the area. I'm friends with his cousin, well, close friends with his cousin, and I had, I kind of know him. Haven't really talked to him much, but I was consigning 2 ponchos for my friend, and I'm still at the point where it's like, these cards are worth a lot of money. I'm consigning them. I'm trying to sell it for him, right? And I went to a show, and he's like, "You can put it in my table, and I'll help you sell it." I'm like, "Okay." And I didn't ask him "Well, what do you want?" I was just, trying to get it taken care of. And he brokered a deal for me when I wasn't there. This guy came by, wanted to buy them, brokered a deal, texted me when I was elsewhere buying cards, and ended up getting rid of one of the ponchos. Pretty good deal for me. And I asked him what are you looking for? He's like, "Oh, nothing. Just here to help you out." And that really stuck out to me, because when you vend, and this is why I'm a big proponent of vending and selling, you meet a lot of good people, and as vendors, a lot of the time they look out for each other. You need a break, you need to eat, you need a drink. Oh, you need help selling something? I got you. And he didn't ask for a cut. He spent, probably 20, 30 minutes of his time. And he had 3 tables, I think. So he's manning 3 tables, brokering a deal for me. And I didn't really know him too well. But yeah, man, that's the kind of stuff that I like and I really appreciate. And
yeah,
people who only watch online content and buy stuff online, participate in YouTube. Nobody in this channel, obviously, but the investment bros and those type of channels, they're missing out on a beautiful part of the hobby, which is the real human side interaction, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's something that someone did for me. Yeah, and it was, you didn't have to do that, but I really appreciated it.
Yeah, I definitely also have to shout out similar situation, Grimer this weekend in Chicago.
Oh,
Grimer,
Big G.
Yeah, Grimer had 2 tables, and Ponga. I'll say Ponga too. Grimer and Ponga both had tables, and they left room for us to put stuff in for consignment. And I sold a bunch of great stuff. That Grimer brokered some trades. He kept the cards and just paid me market for them. And stuff like that. And it was just a great experience. So I got to walk around and buy, and I had a spot to put all my stuff in the section, and then he was slinging my stuff while I was out walking around, and that was just super awesome of him. So yeah, hopefully not everyone ditches vending in our group because I do think it's beneficial, but I don't blame anyone for not wanting to vend collecticons anymore, because I definitely think it's very beneficial to be able to walk around and buy instead
or
of
even just sell by walking is a lot more productive at times.
Yeah, I actually sold a nice stack of cards for, I think it was like 80% of market. And that was pretty solid to me, because like, what am I going to get? 15% on eBay. So if I can get 80% cash, and that was just the vendor next to us. I'm sure there was a lot of other places that I could have looked, but yeah, it's a solid place to buy, sell, and just have fun and flip. But thank you, Grimer and Ponga, for doing that for us this weekend. Definitely helped out.
Thanks, Grimer. Not so much Ponga.
Not so much Ponga. Yeah, Ponga just complained the whole time. Ugh, making all this money and just complaining the whole time. Man, yeah, Ponga's awesome.
I can't get over how good friends we are digitally, and we have never met in real life.
Yeah. Well,
soon, one day.
Soon, yeah, we will. We got to make it happen. We got all. I don't know. I feel like Chicago is well, one of the Texas ones is probably closer to you than a Chicago one, right?
Same distance.
Same distance. Yeah.
3.5 hour flight, no matter what.
Okay. Seattle card party. You gonna be there?
I will be there. And if anybody is asking for an autograph when I'm with them of other YouTubers, I will immediately walk away from them. I would be embarrassed. I'm there to buy and sell, not to meet YouTubers.
I want your autograph.
I will gladly give you my autograph.
That's what I'm going there for now.
And I hear Jason Page is going to be upset. I'm taking Jason Page to town. I'm going to give away free autographs for cards.
Yes, I'm going to meet Ernie this year. Woo! Let's go.
Maybe sooner. I mean, that's like what?
Dude, it's October.
Yeah. It's 6 months from now.
First week of October. Just come to Beersky Palooza. He would have to go all the way across the country to Jersey. I don't think that's going to happen. Voodoo.
I have a friend in Jersey.
I really want to get to a Texas one as well, because I need some of that Texas barbecue. Need some of that good
Texas
stuff.
Barbecue is legit. It's good. There are Texas barbecue transplants in other parts of the country.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's true.
You don't have to go to Texas to get that, but yeah, it's definitely worth it. My wife's from Texas, so
nice.
She gives me the lowdown every time I go there on where to eat.
Solid. Are you full-time Pokemon?
That's a good question.
You have a day job?
So I am not full-time Pokemon technically. I dissolved my company last June. I had a startup I ran for like 5 years. And then from June until the end of the year last year, I just took a break. I was so burnt out and tired and just mentally like not there. And we had a baby. And so I promised my wife I would just kind of lay low, take care of the baby, house, whatever. And then I started looking for a job October. Job market's terrible. Luckily though, I have a job I'm starting in a few weeks. It is in collectibles, but it's not in cards. So maybe I'll be able to share more later. But yeah, I haven't really been working since then. So I have been taking money out since the beginning of this year to pay for certain things, and that's been it's been painful. It really gives me a different perspective, and like part of the reason why like I want to keep this separate, because like when I started looking at the hobby as like just pure numbers, it's like not enjoyable. Like I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I think we were talking before. I have about 1,000 cards out of grading. I don't want to have 1,000 cards out of grading. I want to have like 200 or 300, and they're cards that I like to buy and sell. Not several hundred cards, not 60 Pokeball, whatever, Umbreons. Like, I don't know. My brain just doesn't work that way. I need like some enjoyment, some like fun. I can't just be behind a desk and list, hundreds of PSA cards when half of them I don't give a damn about. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm not
No,
full time.
true. Okay. Well, congratulations on the new job and the new house and the 1.5-year-old. Pretty awesome. Very cool. Did you move for the job? I'm assuming.
Mixture of the job and also my wife. So we moved to Napa when my wife was pregnant, and we lived in LA for 2 years. Because LA is just like, you've been in LA, right? It's like really hard to settle in unless you find like the right neighborhood.
Hmm.
Traffic's bad. To go 5 miles, it takes like 45 to 50 minutes to go 5 miles, certain parts of the city. And so we moved up here because we wanted some peace and quiet, had a baby. We've been here for 2 years. And then we just kind of decided like, it's way too quiet. My neighbors are, we're not of the same age group. If you get what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of social activities and friends here, and so we decided to move back to San Francisco. And I lived there for 10 years before I moved to LA.
Okay, cool. Because you used to work at Twitch
I did
back in the day,
for a long time.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ponga, okay. Well, we got to go through here. Ponga is being accused of punching Hudut's unborn son.
He probably didn't, but I would believe that he did.
True. Barbecue solid in Austin. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, Terry Black's.
That's
in
where I
Austin is
want to
good.
go. But
So
okay,
good.
so that's where I've heard, like, if you're in Austin, you got to hit up Terry Black's. And Dan, this is when I realized that Dan is a picky eater. Dan went to Terry Black's in San Antonio or Houston or one of the ones where the Collecticon was at, and he said he thought it was just okay. So
I have never met Dan
I
in
don't
real life,
know.
so I want to be careful with the words I choose because he's like 7'4", right?
He's a giant.
I
Yeah,
don't know if Dan is a foodie or if he just likes food. And there's a difference.
he likes meat.
Yeah. So I don't know. And maybe, I don't know. It was a bad day. I don't know. Terry Black's, when I had it, was phenomenal. It was pretty damn
Yeah.
good. So, or maybe like where he is, like their barbecue's just, it's a pocket place and it's like on a whole nother level. I have no idea. But
Yeah.
most barbecue, as long as it's not dry and overcooked, like it's pretty good.
Solid. I agree. We have a question from Hoodoo. What other hobbies are you into? I know it's a little hard with family, home, and all that. Do you have any other hobbies outside of Pokemon?
So I'm always a person. I've always been a person with a hobby, like my safe space, my own thing I need to do. Exercise, I think, was something I did for a long time, and I still do. It's my daily ritual.
Yeah, you do like the crazy like wake up at 3:30 a.m. thing, right?
I wake up at 4:30, and if I can pry myself away from buying stuff, like buying cards, then I'll be working out. But I mainly do it just to like get myself ready for the day. I'm not like crazy fit. I just like to exercise. But I would say outside of cards, I mean, games used to be my dude. I was a huge gamer. Like I played everything under the sun and competitive games and League and Call of Duty. There was a time when I used to work at Twitch when I was very, very young. I would go to work, go and play League of Legends all night, go to work again, play League of Legends, go to sleep. And that was my schedule for like 2 or 3 days. But as I've gotten older, I think the thing that resonated with me with cards is like we're actually building value. Like there's like money. There's like money in exchange for time if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
In games, there's none of that. Like maybe when you were younger, you could sell like RuneScape and World of Warcraft accounts, but video games now, like I would love to play. Like I haven't played the latest God of War. I would love to play it, but like in my head, I'm like, that's 20 hours and I could probably just 2x watch it on YouTube. And then I can also buy cards and sources. So it's just like, I don't know, as I've gotten older, I'll still play like League of Legends every now and then with my wife and some friends. But yeah, it was games and now it's cards. And if it's not cards, then it's Discord. Is that a hobby? God, how pathetic.
Hey, it's community building. It's conversating. It's talking to friends. That's a hobby. Socializing.
Yeah, I've made some amazing friends, through cards.
If you started a podcast tomorrow, who would be your top 3 podcast Host partners. No
I think
pressure.
I would.
You don't have
I
to
think I
choose
would.
one.
I think you and I would do well as long as like we were debating and not cordial. Like really having debates on like whatever. I think that would
Yeah.
work. Man, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know who the other two would be. Like I'm an introvert. Like I like to keep to myself. And so, to be able to talk to someone for as long as I am right now, like it's hard. It takes a lot of energy. Um Most people I can't hold a conversation with unless like I have to for like work. I just
Yeah.
choose to not to. So I don't know. Taking applications, I guess. In our next podcast that we have, Java, we're taking applications.
All right,
So
I'll
that's
see
not
you
a great
next
answer, but
year.
that's all I got. Yeah, see you next year.
um, yeah, I'm the same way with like social battery and stuff. Like in Chicago, I'm good if it's like 4 or 5 people all just sitting around and chatting. If there's like 25, 30 people, you will find me in the corner sitting on the stool, like in my
I would
phone
need
or
to
just like
drink,
hanging out.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't try
Um,
not to drink anymore. But if I
yeah.
have a drink, I'm like very social. 4 or 5 people, I could do that, but like a bigger party, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
I look at everything as like, is it a waste of time or is it not a waste of time? It's a terrible attitude, but like,
I do that too, and it's really
you know,
not healthy.
yeah, it's not healthy, but also why am I going to
Yeah.
go to a party with 30 people who two of which I'm going to talk to? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel you there. That's the definite thing that I've been working to try and fix somewhat. And honestly, the hobby has helped me fix that because you would never catch me in a bar ever
Like by
prior
yourself?
to, no, just in general. Like if someone asked me to go to a bar, not going to go. If I
I
would
would
never
say
go by myself.
why? Who's
Well,
going?
it was a time thing. It's like I could sit here and buy more Pokemon cards to make more money with my 2 hours, or I could go sit in a bar and probably not enjoy it for 2 hours. But I was
But we
missing
could
out,
go and
I
we
feel
could
like, on
source.
opportunities.
We could go
Bring
and
our
we could source.
laptops to the bar.
I could watch basketball. We could have a drink and we could source on our phones
There you
and
go.
then, just make the most out of it.
There you go. That's true. That's true. If you had an unlimited budget, what car would you buy? So Hive Mind is, obviously you might know, but Hive Mind is like a high-end car mechanic person.
Yeah. I'm asking him to help me figure out a logo so I stop using this character my friend made for me.
Oh, hell yeah.
So no pressure, dude. No pressure, John.
Get on it.
Everyone knows.
Hurry up.
No, it's okay. These things take a lot of brain power, so I appreciate any effort because it's
Yeah.
hard. Like being creative and coming up with someone else's brand like takes a lot of effort. But also hurry up. Um,
I'm not really a car person.
We are the worst audience to ask.
I would buy a Toyota Prius Prime 2025.
Ooh, you are risky.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wow. Watch out for this guy.
Big money right there. Big money.
Getting there in fashion and saving money.
Exactly.
I don't know. I really like they make the BMW X3. It's like this SUV looking tank that BMW makes. I just like the look of it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know why.
Okay.
But
yeah, that's cool. I dig that.
John's probably like, dude, these guys are freaking losers. Like, what are we
I just
talking?
never
Like,
even.
what?
It's something I've never even thought about. Like the idea of when I was younger and I was more into cars. I was more into like muscle cars because I saw the first Transformers movie when he's has the '69 Camaro, the Bumblebee Camaro, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I could do with one of those. Like that, those are pretty sick. But yeah, I just don't really think about like expensive cars. Cars are just a way to get from A to B. To me, it's not really something I'm into in terms of like a hobby.
Well, I should say we do have a Tesla Model Y, and I regret spending as much money as I did on it.
Yeah,
So
that's a sporty
great
one,
car.
right?
It's the smaller SUV.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like
Oh, is the
cool
Model
car, I
S? Is
guess.
that the sporty one? The S.
Model S is the sportier sedan. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, Spat shaking my head. Every time we saw a Corvette this weekend, Spat was like, "Ooh, 2025 Corvette! Oh, it looks so good." He was freaking out.
Hey, some people like cars.
Yeah, he was big into the Corvettes, that's for sure. But his favorite is a Mustang, and I told him he just needs to buy one, but he's too chicken to spend the money.
It's every person's different, but you got to figure out what you value. And a lot of people I've talked to who've purchased extravagant cars have regretted it.
Yeah, I can imagine because it's a ever depreciating asset basically.
Yeah, it's not that. Oh, it's that.
Yeah.
It's also like when you wanted it, it's probably at a time in your life when you probably couldn't afford it, and so when you actually get it, you're like, oh, I wanted it more when I couldn't have it or afford it. And so they get these assets, and obviously they depreciate, but they also like it just doesn't have the same feeling. And I think like if you're gonna get a car, you'd have to really like cars to spend a lot of money on them. Otherwise, like just get something that's functional and like doesn't make you look like I don't know a
Yeah.
hobo. Something that's like functional and good enough.
Yeah, this was crazy to me. So I looked this up when I was looking at buying my new car, and I was like, or maybe I heard it on a podcast. Someone was talking about an average monthly car payment for people in the US. For new cars, the
$800.
monthly car payment is $742 a month. That's
Well,
more than half my rent.
it's probably because people don't have the money to do a lump sum down payment.
So they do like 10-year
Higher,
leases or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
higher rates, and they have to pay more per month.
Oh man, that's brutal.
I think Hoot's asking for league questions. I
Who's your
played.
league man?
I mained jungle for a long time, so I played a lot of Jarvan. Sorry, this is like nerd talk.
Oh, that's
I played a
good.
lot of Jarvan, a lot of Lee Sin, Poppy. I mained Poppy for a while. I'm even playing League for 12 years at this point. Kind of pathetic and sad, but you know,
What did you think
it's
of
hard to
the
ditch.
Arcane show? Did you watch it?
Oh my god, so bad.
Really? You didn't like it?
The second season, oh my gosh, I thought I was out of energy. We're gonna go at this. They just like they're trying to make their lore now, but the problem is they made all this lore that didn't connect previously. So they're making new lore that tries to like rewrite the previous lore. And the way the season 2 ended and like some of the characters, they just kind of butchered who some of the characters were. Like Victor, what? He's supposed to be a machine. He's supposed to be a cyborg, not like some celestial. Anyway, it was beautifully shot, put together, but like as a League fan in story, I'm just like, you just killed these characters I've known for like 10 years. Like some of these characters don't resonate anymore with me. I literally won't pick Victor because I'm so upset at what he looks like. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like because he was a cyborg, like a mechanical cyborg with an arm. And now when I see him in game, I'm like, this guy's lame. Like, that's not the guy I knew. Anyway, beautifully shot, whatever. Well put together. Story's not good.
Are you interested in the Universus League of Legends card game?
So I've been snooping on Retro's, auctions because he bought a lot of the Chinese stuff. And I am only going to buy them if it sells well. So I'm not a League fan like die hard. I'm gonna like buy everything they make because I was, but that just led to a lot of clutter and crap that I just don't need. And so really selfishly it'd be about the financial part. Like, are they gonna have signature cards and really rare cards that go for a premium? Then I would buy. but like I'm not gonna buy it just to have it. I mean, I got cards, random cards of all different games and languages, just like sitting around. If I buy the League one, it's just gonna sit around. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I took a look at our altered play recently, and that is not going
Oh,
well for us.
they're finally releasing the marketplace.
Finally.
Finally.
Yeah,
So
that's nice, I guess.
the boxes are still worth. They still retain like
They're only
80% of
like
the value, I think, right?
$100.
Oh,
I think they're under what
could be
we spent
worse.
on them, right?
They were 140, I think, 130.
Yeah.
Could be worse. Yeah.
Some of the cards have sold. I looked at the sales on eBay recently of like the unscanned of like the hollow alt cards or whatever. Some of them seem like they do okay, but you have to have not scanned them already. I scanned all of mine, so maybe
Yeah.
when the marketplace comes out, I can sell the ones that I have.
Yeah. I'll probably
But
wait.
yeah,
Can I answer this question that Hootie asked?
yeah. Which one?
Have you considered your timeline in the hobby if
Oh
you
yeah,
interact? Um, if I can bring home somewhere around 10K in profit, I would go full time.
a month.
A month, sorry. Yeah. I would go full time.
I would
And
go too, because that's a lot.
that's like it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
It's hard to do like if you're not a rip and shipper or you don't have like a chain of stores or like a network of, you know what I mean, like a way to multiply your business, that's like really freaking hard to do.
yeah,
And so I also live in like San Francisco now is probably the first or second highest cost of living in the country. So, you know, my numbers are a little bit skewed because everything here costs way more. Um, but I would go full time, and I don't ever see myself dropping the hobby. If anything, I'll probably slow down on selling and just kind of like collect inventory a bit more, just kind of cruise a bit. But no, I don't ever see myself kind of leaving or exiting. I would love for this thing to be like 7 or 8 figures one day, and then like give it to my daughter, like here you go, and hope, and she better like Pokemon. But yeah, I would love to keep growing this thing, and like again, it's not like just financial. I really enjoy buying, sourcing, and selling and trading, and like researching and learning. Like it gives me a good kind of outlet that games used to give me, playing games with friends and that kind of thing. And like now in my late 30s, like I don't go to bars, I don't go out, I don't play games as much. I don't, you know, this is my way to like, you know, enjoy my free time. So I don't see myself leaving
yeah,
anytime soon.
yeah. In terms of my flipping, I was just taking a look to see what my highest month ever has been flipping in terms of profit, and I think my highest month was last December. In terms of profit, it was $7,500
Pure profit.
profit. Yeah, just
Is
profit.
that officially on your IRS tax return, or is that?
Yeah, 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 yep. um,
um,
yeah, but that's the highest, and that was an anomaly. Like most of the time, it's like a few thousand.
this is last December or the December before last?
This most previous December.
Almost previous December.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I had some pretty good months in the fall time, but it's because I sold a lot of Grand Archive. It's the other game that I was selling into, or selling. I sold my collection for like mid 5 figures. I won a trophy. I won multiple trophy cards, and I sold them for 5K, 7K, 9K, or something like that. So I made
yeah,
pretty good money in that game, and the margins were ridiculous. But that was like a hyper niche game that the scarcity was there because the player base, they didn't have enough cards for the player base, and so collectors, investors, and players like really wanted the game. And the game, I think it's kind of plateaued now, but there's a time there where you couldn't really get your hands on it, and like people wanted all the expensive cards, and so that's why I flew to Singapore in Japan last
Oh
year.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I played in a tournament there. It was like a collector's tournament. I won a trophy, and then I sold it to my friend in Tokyo, and I was there for like 36 hours.
That's awesome. Well,
yeah,
that's probably crazy 36 hours of.
Dude, try explaining it to my wife. She's like, what are you talking about? You're changing your ticket? Like, you're going to Japan? I'm like, babe, trust me. And I was stupid scared because I'd never flown across country with like money.
Mm.
And I've read like on some countries they take it very seriously if you're not claiming how much money you're bringing in, taking it out.
Yeah.
So like flying like from one country to another with Singapore dollars and then Japanese yen and US dollars, like all in my backpack. I'm like,
yeah,
it's kind of scary.
Yeah. Well, I think we've hit our 10 p.m. my bedtime. So
is this a record? Am I the longest guest you've had?
I don't know. Maybe. I know. Have we gone over the 2-hour mark yet? We might have.
2 hours, 41 seconds.
Let me check. You might. No, Mason and I went 2 hours and 10 minutes. Ponga and I went 2 hours, 11 minutes.
Okay, never mind.
We're close. We're close. But yeah, I appreciate it, Ernie. Thank you very much for hopping on and being a part of this 30 for 30. And yeah, if you want to let people know again where they can find you and how they can support you before we sign off, yeah, go ahead. Do it.
The best way to support me, follow on IG, Earn Collects. On YouTube, Earn Collects Cards. I think I have like 50 subs now. So we're on our way. I haven't published a video yet on that channel. So that's basically it. I don't sell my eBay store right now or anywhere else. So that's the best way to support.
Sub to that link. Yes, I just put the link in the chat. Sub there for Ernie's new YouTube channel. And we'll make sure to share the videos around when they come out, and we'll get it going. Tomorrow, I will be talking to Pokemon Wonder. I will be interviewing the #1 interviewer in the space. No pressure at all.
I love that guy.
Should be good. I saw him this weekend. It was fun. It was fun to see him. So, yeah, it should be a fun chat. And we've got a whole bunch of awesome people coming up later in the week. So thank you guys very much for coming by. I appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.
Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.